Meantime, a group of Texas sheriffs, counties, and an association of ICE officers filing a lawsuit against President Biden and the Department of Homeland Security. This after President Trump visited the border earlier this week at the invitation of Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Joining me now, Louisiana Congressman, Vice Chairman of the Republican Conference, and former Chairman of the Republican Study Committee, Mike Johnson. And also joining the conversation all morning long, Ryan Payne and Mark Tepper. Congressman, you were down at the border with President Trump. Tell us what you saw.
Well, hey, Dagan, good morning. We saw a staggering human tragedy. That's what stands out. We had about 24 Republicans, members of the Republican Study Committee, who went down there to join the president and Governor Abbott. We went the night before the Trump event, and we went onto the border. We were there as late as 1 or 1:30 in the morning, just watching droves of people come across the border, Dagan, just completely undeterred. Because under the Biden administration, as we know, because of his executive orders, they are prohibiting our Customs and Border Patrol agents from doing their job. They cannot stop these people. As one of my Texas colleagues summarized, what we have right now is basically our poor Border Patrol agents are acting as processing agents for the cartels who are trafficking human beings into our country. They take these folks to processing centers, ultimately give them travel arrangements, and send them out throughout the country. This is a crisis that the mainstream media is trying to ignore, but we have to continue to explain to the American people what this means to them, their safety, their security, and ultimately their financial situation.
Well, the governors of those border states, local officials, again, people who are with Border Patrol and ICE, but also congressmen and mayors in cities and towns far and wide across the border know exactly the trouble that is not only that they're facing now, but what will happen in the future. If this is only going to get worse, Biden and company are expected to get rid of Title 42, which limited the influx of people because of COVID. You get rid of that, it's a wide open border, even more so than we see today.
Oh, absolutely. Everyone saw our press event we did where we're standing by a section of the wall that was stopped. The construction was completely halted by the Biden administration, by President Biden, within the first few days of his taking his oath of office. And so you have gaping holes. There is no security there. It's open. They come across all hours of the night and in the day. They're actually looking for, the migrants are looking for the Border Patrol agents because they know they're going to be given safe haven and transport and taken care of, by the way, on the dime of the American taxpayer. We had 180,000 plus encounters at the border, that southern border in southern tip of Texas, just in the month of May alone. We're going to get the June numbers here in the next few days. It's going up rapidly. This is an unsustainable situation. We'll wind up having millions and millions of people from all over the world come through that border. And by the way, we don't know who all these people are. We don't know how many of them are MS-13 gang members that are violent criminals. We don't know how many terrorists are coming across because we're not detecting most of these things. This is an absolute disaster, and it was totally created by the Biden administration. President Biden could reverse this right now, just reinstitute the Trump administration policies where we got in control of it.
But what does stop it? I mean, how much human suffering needs to happen with fentanyl coming across the border? How many people need to die from drug overdoses before at least this influx of illegal immigrants is slowed by this administration? I am asking this in all seriousness. Do we have to wait 3.5 years?
Well, I'm not sure we'll be able to sustain it for 3.5 years, but you're asking the right question, and we are beating the drums as loudly as we can. The reason we brought 24 Republicans down to the border is for us to gather this data, to get the current status of what's going on. We have to take this back to our home states and districts and tell the story because the media is helping the Democrat Party bury this story. They won't even acknowledge it's a crisis, much less deal with it. And you're right. They collected 934 pounds of fentanyl at the southern border in the month of May alone. I mean, we have a volume of fentanyl now that's coming across the border that can kill every man, woman, and child in this country. It's a completely disastrous situation, and they will not even acknowledge that that's a problem. So we're going to have to push. I'm telling you, if we don't get control of the Congress in 2022 for the Republican side and restore some sanity to this will be a problem for everyone in the country. And as we'd like to say now, every state is a border state. Don't pretend that this is just Texas, New Mexico, Arizona. This is all of us, and we've got to address it.
And it's happening at a time that all these Democrat-run cities are seeing spikes in crime because, again, they vilify and demonize police, defund their police departments, and then they coddle criminals and then treat the victims and the law-abiding residents as detritus. Congressman, I want to get your take on this new, speaking of crime, this new ABC News Washington Post poll. The number of Americans who see crime as an extremely serious problem is at a 20-year high. The poll also finds that only 38%, so a little more than 1/3 of adults, approve of President Biden's performance on this issue. Congressman, this is one of the reasons that you have a Jen Psaki saying, well, Republicans want to defund the police because they didn't sign on for the $1.9 trillion COVID relief, which was not like law enforcement funding bill.
Yeah, even some in the mainstream media had to acknowledge that was patently absurd. And, at Fox, Ducey challenged her and said, hey, can you name one Republican who said they're for defunding the police? Of course she couldn't. Look, that has been their mantra. That was their marching orders for the last year or so. I mean, I'm on the House Judiciary Committee. We had multiple hearings about this. They brought bills, of course, as we all know, to defund the police. They did it in all these big Democrat-run cities. And obviously, common sense just tells you that there's going to be a very serious effect of that. And now they're seeing it. These policies are madness. It's leading to these terrible results. And I think people are waking up to this. I think the American people have had enough, and I think there'll be a reckoning in the next election cycle.
98% of local police and corrections outlays are funded by cities, counties, and states, not Washington, D.C., as Karl Rove pointed out. And not a single mayor of a GOP mayor, Republican mayor of a city, or any council, city council, has cut its police budget. So this is on the Democrats. And the thing is they're doing nothing to stop these spikes in crimes. They're purely using the violence in these large cities to push through gun control measures, to attack law-abiding gun owners and federal firearms license dealers, which you heard from Joe Biden, to go after those who are selling guns legally and owning guns legally and blame them for criminals.
Yeah, it's patently absurd. That's exactly the opposite approach of what should be taken. And by the way, there's a spike in gun sales from law-abiding citizens because they're beginning to recognize they're going to need this for their own protection. If these Democrat-run cities are continue to be run in this way, you won't have large police forces. They won't be active anymore because who in their right mind would go and enlist to be a police officer right now? You have to be an American hero to do this job because of the stigma they've attached to that profession. It is a terrible situation. But again, I think people are seeing, you're right, it is a completely Democrat situation. The Democrats in charge of the federal government and at the local level are the ones driving this. And we're seeing the results. And it's frightening people.
The cities with the strictest gun control measures where the Second Amendment doesn't exist, like New York City, that's where you're seeing the spike in shootings and murders. So the Second Amendment's the problem in the upside-down world of liberal lunacy. Congressman Mike Johnson, thank you for being here.
Thanks, Dagan.